So I recently got to play a game I've been looking forward to for a really long time. I got to play Genshin Impact, and I love it. It's basically taken over my life and inspired me to make this little series that I'm calling My Latest Obsession. So for those who don't know, Genshin Impact is an open world gacha game that is free to play. And when I say free to play, I mean free to play. There are microtransactions, but the game doesn't push them at all. And it's set up in a really, really cool way. So 5-star characters and items are very rare. They have a 6% rate of summon on each banner, and that's incredibly low. But every 10 summons, you are guaranteed a 4-star item or character at least. So that could be a 4-star, or you can get a 5-star. And this works regardless of whether you do multi-summons or single summons or whatever. It's every 10, you get a 4-star. Guaranteed. Which is awesome, because some of the best characters and gear in the game are 4-star. It's genuinely really cool. Plus, the best way that you get the materials you need to summon is to just play the game. Yeah, you can go farming, but to be honest, it's much easier and more fun just to kind of play the game. As for content, there is so much to do in this game, but no pressure to do anything. You can take your time, and it doesn't feel like you should be doing something else. The game doesn't push you to do anything. It just kind of lays it all out for you to do as and when you like, which makes it an excellent end of day chill out game, which is a rarity because there's not many of those out. There is a story which is ongoing. At a guess, at the moment, I'd say that there's around 10 to 15 hours out right now. But that is a guess because I don't actually know. There's a whole heap of side quests that take you all over the world, which has a bunch of cool stuff. For example, I start quests all the time but get distracted on the way to doing them by cool puzzles, combat stuff, and more side quests that you just kind of randomly come across. Or and this is the biggest one that I get distracted by, really cool areas to explore. I was on my way to do some other random side quest. I remember when I stumbled across this, and I just had to take a minute before inevitably going over to have a look, because you bet your ass I'm gonna drop everything I'm doing to go have a look at a giant tree city. Oh yeah, this game is gorgeous. Everywhere you look is stunning. When it got first announced, it did catch quite a lot of heat because it looked like Breath of the Wild. But while the art style may be similar, the world design is totally different. The two main areas in Genshin are apparently based on Germany and China, and honestly, you can see that. Each area feels and looks very different. It's very unique, not just compared to Zelda, but compared to each other as well. It's kind of like they wanted to make each area stand out and feel like a different area of the world, not just kind of one big place. Gameplay wise, yeah, there is flying, and it's basically the same as in Zelda, and yeah, there is climbing too, but the climbing in Genshin is a lot more forgiving than in Zelda, which I personally prefer, because climbing in Zelda was hard, especially in the rain. There's none of that in Genshin, which I'm quite thankful for, but in essence they're very similar. But just because two games share similar mechanics, it doesn't make them the same. I'd say Genshin Impact is to Zelda what Battlefield is to Call of Duty. Same type, different game. Even though they look and play similarly, there are differences, and those changes change the experience. For example, the combat in Genshin is really, really different. In Zelda, it's more about collecting weapons and an arsenal that you can use. In Genshin, you've got 4 characters that you can switch between at any time, and they each have one of 7 elements, and each of these elements interacts differently with each other, some for more damage, some for more status effects, and all of that, and it makes for some really interesting and engaging combos. And if you switch up your party, it instantly changes combat encounters, because now you have different elements at your disposal and stuff like that. It's really, really fun. And if you're really into the combat, there are loads of dungeons. you can do with a variety of difficulties that you can either do for loot or for fun, and you can even take on the Spiral Abyss, the game's roguelike battle mode. Yeah, it has one of those. I was really surprised, but it's really fun. But if that's not your thing, you can just explore the world, like solving puzzles, finding treasure. You can even do it co-op, which is awesome. Like if you want to play with friends, and it's cross-platform too. I play with my brother, and he's on PC, I'm on PS4, and it works great. I will say that at the moment that you can only do in-world bosses co-op, which aren't the hardest, and only select dungeons, not all of them, and you can't do the Spiral Abyss at all, which is a little bit disappointing. But this may be added down the line, I don't know, but at the moment the co-op is mainly exploring. Plus, I will add that I'm playing on PS4, and it's not the best optimized game I've ever seen. Pop-in is pretty bad at some points, and the game does drop a lot of frames. The PC version runs without any issue, so it might just be my terrible internet connection causing problems, and there is a patch coming at the end of the month. So I'm willing to give the game the benefit of the doubt, because it's been out for like a week, maybe two, and the content is stellar, so I'm good. Oh yeah, speaking of updates, it's a gacha game, so it'll be updated with content regularly so you can have your mind blown all over again. 3 have already been announced. The first adds a bunch of new characters and a co-op event, which sounds really cool. And that comes with the bug fixes I mentioned before and all of that. The second is a new area that comes out in December, so a couple months, and I'm really excited for that. And that came out way sooner than I thought it was going to be. And the third is coming next year in February, and that's another event. And it was apparently in the beta, and it looks really cool, so I'm really looking forward to it. I cannot recommend this game enough. Like, check out some gameplay on the YouTubes. I've got some co-op stuff planned, so check out that if you like, or just download it yourself and like play the game. Like, it's free. Why not give it a try? So far, I can't tell you how many hours I've put into this, because for some reason PS4 doesn't track playtime, which is weird. But I can tell you I've stayed up way too late playing this, and have basically done nothing but play. I was sick last week, and instead of resting, I've been playing this, which made me feel even worse, and that's why I'm even more behind on editing than I already was. Yay. But I can't think of a better game to start my taking over my life leaderboard than Genshin Impact. I know, it looks a little lonely right now, but don't worry, it's not going to stay that way. I've got a ton of things I'm utterly obsessed with that I really want to talk about. So until next time, have a good one. Cheers.